Welcome to E10 Extra, your weekly preview show giving you all things Orient. This week we're going to be looking ahead towards Saturday's game at the Group Stadium against Tranmere Rovers. We'll also be catching up with Orient midfielder Nick Freeman and hearing his thoughts ahead of that game.
We've been close in games and it's been really close games, but I'm sure we'll get the results soon.
We're also going to be joined by some Orient legends as we look back and reminisce at some fantastic fixtures against Chelsea over 40 years ago.
You know, it was amazing, the difference the second half, and I think I scored the first goal quite early on and we were really pushing.
But first, let's take a closer look and remind ourselves of how that narrow defeat in Yorkshire played out on Tuesday night.
Nice and sharp. You're going to work the opposite side, the left shoulder now. Good. We're going to work. 1 XL, 1 D cell. First one. Quick. Come on then, onto it, quick. Brilliant! Let's go. Come on, boys. Come on then, lads, get yourself going. Nice and sharp.
Fourth official is indicating additional time sponsored by Smith Butler. A minimum 1 minute additional time.
Release!
A bitterly disappointing result on Tuesday night, but we've got Nick Freeman now waiting for us inside to hear his thoughts on how Orient can turn their fortunes around. So it's now 4 starts for yourself in an Orient shirt. How have you found it settling in E10?
Yeah, I've settled in well. Like, lads are great, and I've enjoyed just playing some football. And we've been close in games, and it's been really close games. But I'm sure we'll get the results soon.
Absolutely, as you say, you know, there's been a few draws and a loss. Those 3 points have been elusive. I'm guessing the work has been going on in the training pitch to put things right. Yeah,
like bit by bit, we've been getting better by better at each game, and just adding that little bit, that last bit that we're just missing. But we've been putting in good performances. We just haven't, like I said, had that last bit. But it's a process, and like it's a slow process. But I'm sure we've got 18 games, and it will come.
And personally, have you found it settling into the squad with the boys here? And obviously, three new signings joined you in January. How's it all moulding together?
Yeah, it's moulded in well. Like from the first day, I felt like I fit in. All the boys are friendly. They welcomed me. The staff, they're great, and just feels normal now. Like, feel excited coming in, and yeah, everyone's great. So it's been a good start.
It has, and obviously it was a disappointing night on Tuesday in Yorkshire. It was an informed Bradford side, and I'm sure yourself and the boys were disappointed with how that game panned out.
Well, yeah, every team we seem to play are in good form at the minute, but it was a tight game. It's probably a 0-0, but obviously they get a penalty, great penalty. But listen, we can't dwell on it. We've got to go on to Saturday now, which is a big game, and we're on our turf. So we just got to focus on that and put that one to bed. Learn from what we need to learn from, but ultimately it was an okay performance, like a decent performance from us, and we can still build on that. And the goals have felt a little bit tough to come by of late, and I'm guessing that's something you want to try and help contribute with, getting in amongst the goals and assists. Yeah, of course. Like we've lacked goals recently, but yeah, of course, like all of us, we want to try and add to that goals and assists and creating chances, and just them last detailed moments, just creating a chance and someone just putting it away and being clinical. That's just the only thing we're lacking at the minute. But like I said, it'll definitely come from any of us. I'm sure we're all good players, and we can all bring that to the table. And we've already spoken about the fact that we face informed teams, and this Saturday it's another informed team, second in the form table, Tranmere Rovers. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm guessing that it's one that you and all the boys are fired up for. Well, yeah, when I first came, they were like mid-table, and they've gone and won 6, 7 out of 8, and they've jumped into the top 4. But like, we've got the players to do it. Like, we just have to keep having that belief, and like I said, it's a process that we're going to get there. Go into Saturday, don't fear Tranmere, go there, do what we do best, and I'm sure that we can get a result. And as we look towards how the season's going to pan out, and because you yourself have been in similar positions in this league and in the league above, and you must bring that certain know-how to the squad, and is that something you want to really help with as the season? Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've experienced during promotions is the change room has to stay together. You're always going to go through tough patches where you're not going to win, or your form's a bit off, you're winning 2, you're losing 2, whatever. But as long as the team stick together and they don't bicker, and they know that it's going to come, and we need to be patient and just believe in each other, then we'll be fine. As long as we stay like that, I'm sure we'll be fine.
We've made the short trip across to the Bro Group Stadium, and seeing as last week we celebrated the 10-year anniversary of that draw with Arsenal, we thought we'd dig a little bit deeper into the Orient archives, and we've got Peter Kitchen and record appearance holder Peter Allen waiting for us on a Zoom call upstairs, and we're going to take a look back from over 40 years ago to those memorable victories against Chelsea in the FA Cup. So seeing as this week is the anniversary of both the 1972 and 1978 games against Chelsea, I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by 2 Orient legends in Peter Allen and Peter Kitchen. Good morning, Peter, and good morning, Peter. How are you both?
Yeah, morning.
And absolutely delighted to have you with us this morning, Peter Allen. You were involved in both the 1972 and 1978 games. First of all, you're still to this day the record appearance holder for Leyton Orient Football Club. How does that feel for you personally?
Well, when you put it like that, it makes me feel old.
It's an amazing achievement.
It really is.
Yeah, basically, there were no agents then, so you didn't get moved around at all. The club had your registration, and you stayed there as long as they wanted you to. But I was lucky that the Orient were a decent club, lots of decent lads that were playing, and it was I enjoyed my time there in all of it really.
Is it true that you turned down an offer from Everton in 1970, I believe?
I had a contact from them to go and join them, but my wife's a real southerner, so anything north of Watford would have been out of the question.
Well, it's a good job you didn't go to Everton, because it was 2 years later there was that iconic game here at Brisbane Road, which is now the Bro Group Stadium, obviously. What can you remember from that game against the First Division side?
Well, this is the 72 one.
Yes, the first. I believe it was the comeback from 2 goals down.
Yes. Yeah, I think we had a decent side there. So I remember a decent side and mud. I think the River Lee used to run through there, and someone opened the sluice gates before that game, I think. Our team talk used to be mine the quagmire just by the halfway line.
The pitch certainly didn't look in a very good condition, but in the stands, there was 30,000 people in the ground that day. We can only have 9,000 in today, but can you remember what the atmosphere was like?
Oh, it's amazing, yeah. I mean, there were so many people jammed in. What is the main stand now was I think there would have been the West stand, but I think one of the barriers and the wall between the pitch, yeah, and the stand fell down with pressure of weight of numbers, and it's just sort of clear up the rubble and keep going. It's very different in those days.
And being 2 goals down against First Division side, there must have been a lot of character and fight in that team to turn that result around.
Well, there was. I don't think we realised what hit us the first 20 minutes. We all said, like, we went out with the idea of just trying to keep a clean sheet to start with, and it seemed as though they went through us just like knife through butter, and they'd either score or they'd get a corner or we'd get the goal kick, and then we'd turn around and they're back at the halfway line waiting for us to try and get at them again. But we did have a decent side that wasn't, well, I think we had a good defensive side, and from the way we came back, you can see there's a few lads that could nick a goal for us.
Mm. And that victory there obviously set up the next round against Arsenal. Nowadays, if the O's were to play Chelsea one week and then Arsenal a few weeks later, that would be absolutely massive. What was the feeling like at the club around the time of that cup run?
It was, just huge optimism, and I think we felt that it was within our grasp. We always seemed to have a cup run most seasons. I think I made the wrong choice then, because I'd been at the Orient for so long, and I had a bit of a rough patch. So after the Chelsea game, I had a chance to move, so I didn't get to play in the Arsenal one, and it's one of my regrets really that I didn't stick it out and try and get in the side to play Arsenal. Then we would have won, of course.
Of course.
Of course. Well, you did end up sticking around at Orient for a fair while longer, and you stayed until the next time we played Chelsea in 1978. And Peter Kitchen, there's a lot made of the goals you scored on that day. But can you tell us what you remember from that fixture, the double header? We forced them into a replay, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were quite fortunate against Blackburn in the round before, and we were played off the park really. And it was only in the last 20 minutes that we seemed to click, and we got 3 goals, and that took us through. But up to then, we'd never really thought, much about the cup. We were taking each game as it came. When we were drawn against Chelsea at Brisbane Road, I mean, we had a similar situation with the crowd. The wall collapsed, and there was a lot of fans in there. And I think we never really played particularly well. It was a real hard slog. We worked hard defensively. I think I scored a goal which was disallowed, and I still to this day don't know why, but it was. But Jacko, you know, defensively we were brilliant, and Jacko pulled off an unbelievable save later in the game and kept us in it. So when we went to Stamford Bridge for the replay, I don't think we were really overly confident that, you know, to get anything out of it. And it started like that, you know, the pitch was quite muddy as we was Brisbane Road. And we were really outplayed the first half, and Chopper Harris was kicking me all over the park. He was virtually in my shorts, you know, and just couldn't get any space. And Bill Roffey it was a harmless back pass, and he lobbed the ball over Jacko. You know, and up to then we were holding the game at 0-0, and we went in at half time, and to this day I don't know what was said at half time. I can't even remember it because Jimmy Bloomfield was in hospital at the time. And it was amazing, the difference the second half. And I think I scored the first goal quite early on, and we were really pushing. And I think Peter, I was saying earlier about Peter's overhead kick. I mean, he shot from just outside the box, an overhead kick, which nearly caught Benetti, and he had to push it over the bar, I think. So yeah, and we deserved then to win the game, I think. You know, I scored the second goal, and it was only the last 10 minutes that they came in and put us under pressure. But defensively, we were brilliant.
Kitchen just ahead of him. Here's Kitchen. And Orient have taken the lead from a goal behind now to lead 2-1 at Stamford Bridge.
We always were the underdogs, of course, but when I look back, we had a series of cup runs where we always did well. And coming back to that first Chelsea game in '72, there's different things that were non-football related, really, because nowadays if you score against your old club, the idea is that you don't celebrate. And one of my memories of the 72 game was Dave Webb scored, and he celebrated so much, it was a bit over the top, and I think that made everyone think, oh, you know, putting two fingers up to us, we can do better. And Phil scored that cracking goal. So I think altogether, when we came into games as underdogs, I think we still felt we were better than our league form.
Well, hopefully the O's side next season can put together a cup run that might even come close to what you achieved back then. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk through those two Chelsea games, and we hope to see you back here at the Bro Group Stadium soon.
How fantastic to hear two Orient legends reminiscing on what was such a fantastic period for the club. Thank you so much to Peter Allen and Peter Kitchen for joining us, and thank you to Nick Freeman as well, and thank you to you guys at home for watching. And don't forget, Tranmere Rovers travel here to the Bro Group Stadium on Saturday, and I'll be pitchside with Andrew Butler and Glenn Wilkie on Orient Live, presented by Auto AXS. So make sure you purchase your match passes for that game now over on the Orient website. And that is all we've got time for, and we'll see you on Saturday. Stay safe and up the O's.